Welcome, guys. Today we will be exploring Qwen3 TTS for voice design, voice cloning, and multi speaker audio generation. Qwen3 TTS is an open source text to speech audio model and is governed using the Apache 2.0 license, which means you can use this for commercial purposes without requiring any explicit permission from Alibaba. Let's get right into it. So this is the complete workflow in ComfyUI showcasing different capabilities of Qwen3 TTS. I usually run ComfyUI on this platform called Running Hub. It comes preloaded with all the custom nodes and all these AI models that I require. But if you're not using Running Hub and you're running ComfyUI on your local computer or let's say RunPod, you need to make sure that you download this custom node pack. This one, just go to your ComfyUI manager, search for this, it'll install. Now, the good part of this custom node is that it'll automatically download the models, so you don't need to manage that. Once you're done installing this custom node pack, this workflow should be good to go. Now let's start with voice design. It's a very simple workflow, not much to it. We're just plugging in the script, and this is where we define the characteristics of the voice that we're looking for. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can either go with a 1.7 billion parameter model or a 0.6 billion parameter model. If you do not have VRAM constraints, I would suggest go with the 1.7B. And I already had this run, so this was the output. Have a listen.
Older gentleman, 110, maybe 111 years old. Sort of a surly Elvis thing happening with him. He smiles like this. Seen him around?
So that was voice design. Nothing much to it. Now let's explore voice cloning, which is the interesting bit. So here, first off, I upload a voice of my own. I pass it through ASR, which transcribes the audio that was uploaded. Then we pass the audio and the transcribed text into the voice clone prompt. And we pass the voice clone prompt into the voice clone node to clone the voice successfully. Let's listen to the audio that I uploaded. All right, let me quickly record a small audio clip of my own voice that I can use for voice cloning for this tutorial that's about Qwen3 text-to-speech model. Let's go. Okay. Now, do you see how my voice has tonality and an accent? Well, when we use Qwen3 ASR, basically when we provide reference text, now this reference text can be provided by Qwen3 ASR, or you can just manually type out the text that was spoken into the input audio. And when we combine the reference audio and the text, we need to make sure that the X vector only setting is set to false. X vector only means we're just going to use the speaker embeddings. And you can just use the speaker embedding to clone a voice, but the quality will be worse. So whenever possible, when you're cloning a voice, make sure that you provide both the reference audio and the transcribed text. All right, let's look at the audio output of the voice clone. I've inserted the prompt here, the script that I want my voice clone to speak. We're going to explore this now. Yeah, so I'm a digital nomad, right? So pretty much all my communication is just like texts and messages. And now, there's these AI agents that can reply for you, which is, hey, convenient, sure, I guess, but also kind of delicate, like you'll type something super short, like, yep, sounds good. And it'll turn that into this whole warm, polished paragraph, like way nicer than I'd ever write myself. Seriously, I sound like a Hallmark card all of a sudden. But then once you outsource that, what's the other person actually hearing? Are they hearing me or just some generic friendly bot voice? Man, that's weird to even say out loud. I would say the voice cloning came out really nice. It captured my accent, my tonality. I would say it's pretty good. Okay, now let's explore custom voice. Now, Qwen3 text to speech comes preloaded with 9 different timbres, basically 9 different voices that cover different combinations of age, language, gender, etc. And you can visit their official website to explore all of this. Now, we can customize these voices by inputting what we want here. Now, we're going to run it without any control instructions, which is we're going to use the default voice of Ryan. And this is what he's going to speak.
In the absence of confiscation, the Portuguese inquisitors were not earnest in tracing the heresies of ancestors or in following up the records of fugitives.
So that's like a normal voice that you can use. Now, if you want to customize that further, you can see some examples. You can explore their official website. So here we have the same speaker, Ryan. And if we just input this very happy tag in that text box, it's going to sound something like this.
She said she would be here by noon.
If he's sad, we can just input this.
She said she would be here by noon.
But for our use case, we're gonna keep this empty, and we're just gonna use Ryan's default voice. Another thing to pay attention to within this workflow is here also we use the Qwen3 ASR, which is automatic speech recognition. All it does is it takes in audio and it transcribes the text. Why do we do that? I'm putting more emphasis on this again because this is very important. You provide the audio and you provide the text. You set the X vector only setting to false, and that improves the voice cloning quality. That's all we're doing. Now we've covered these three groups. Now let's explore multi-speaker audio generation. Now it all starts with the role bank. The input to a role bank is our voice clone prompt node. Basically, this node in the first group, this node in the second group, and we have it in the third group as well. So these voice clone prompts act as the input for our role bank. We define the role names as interviewer, role name 2 as Viraj, role name 3 as Ryan. And then we just use this node dialog inference and select the 1.7 billion model if that's what you've used before. I select the BF16 precision. You can control how much of a pause you want your characters to have when there's a change of paragraph, when there's a pause due to a full stop, when there's a comma or a question mark. Leave them at default. They seem to work fine. This is where we have the entire script. This is basically a conversation or like a podcast between an interviewer and two of his guests. And the format, focus on the format, the role name, colon, and then whatever they have to say. And we can use this to create like mini podcasts. Well, I had this run already, so let's listen to the output.
Welcome. Today we're discussing the digital landscape's biggest shift, AI avatars. These aren't just animations, they are autonomous digital twins. Viraj, as a developer, what's the real-world utility here?
It's about infinite scale. At my agency, we're moving beyond simple chatbots to high fidelity avatars that act as 24/7's brand ambassadors. Whether it's a personalized marketing campaign for 10,000 users simultaneously or a virtual expert providing internal training, these avatars provide a human interface for complex agentic systems. We're finally bridging the gap between automation and genuine connection.
I'll admit the efficiency is impressive, but I'm concerned about the trust gap. If a user can't distinguish a pixel-perfect reconstruction from a real person, do we lose the authenticity that drives brand loyalty? In 2026, transparency is as important as the tech itself.
That's exactly why we use intent driven development. The avatar is just the front end for a sophisticated state machine. It knows when to be empathetic and exactly when to hand off to a human. We aren't just chatting, we're executing tasks with a face.
A fascinating balance of scale and soul. We'll be right back.
Well, I would say that came out pretty nice. In the next video, we're going to combine voices with video, and we're going to have talking head AI avatars. Stay tuned. I'll see you later.